provided in the same document, detail on including duties as requested from us in the last week. So we are giving offer of employment to Ms. Precious Ojodada, who had applied for customer relation officer. So we have the introduction. Following your successful, we are pleased to offer you employment to the position, and then we indicated the date, which is to resume 1st of June 2022, and then we indicated hours of work, the Monday to Friday, 5 p.m., 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Then the employees are allowed 20 minutes lunch break. We indicated place of work where this candidate is to resume our main office located at number 24, blah, blah. Then remuneration, we indicated that she will be on a gross monthly salary of 64,720 naira, culminating to 788,640 per annum. We went ahead in the letter to indicate duty of the duties. So then, sorry, on there, trying to navigate to other pages. Then we have line up C in the same letter, the other indication, benefits, rules, and in addendum, we now provided what the memorandum of acceptance. If he accepts the offer, he should sign the document. Please, I'm sorry, I'm not used to using phone for presentation. It's my laptop, since I was not prepared to take the presentation. Sorry, I'm trying to. Okay, yes. Okay, the second page, we can see that. So probation period, the annual leave, notice of the notice period if it's to disengage from us. Then importantly, we indicated confidentiality is required. The candidate is required to treat with the highest level of confidentiality and any information about the organization. So on page 3 of that, where it's signed by the CEO and the HR manager. And we have on the last page the memorandum of acceptance, which after accepting the offer, then it should submit that to the HR. These are presentation. Then the last one is just the average of part of just letter of appointment, just one page, which we have the other ones that is detailed with other information required for taking the offer. Of course, from the salary, we made explicit what is to cover, what is to have, then other benefits for working with the organization, including annual leave and among others. So these are our presentation.
All right, thank you so much, Prof. This is group 4, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, sir, group 4.
It's group 4, okay. So can we give group 4 Boza for the work they've done? Can we give group 4 good Boza for the work they've done? Someone say can't see the screen. Okay. Don't worry about the screen. Just give them Boza. Maybe when you give them Boza, you see the screen. Okay, can we appreciate?
I will post the content. I will just post the content in the chat room.
Yes, I think that will be better.
Yes.
Okay, so thank you so much, group 4, for the work well done. Although the technology used did not allow us to get all of what you wanted to share. You were mentioning that you were on the next page, you were on the other page, but for me, it was only one page I saw all through.
Okay, so, it's not moving.
It wasn't moving. So
sorry.
Maybe part of the competencies you need to go and, part of the skills you need to go and build now is how to use phone.
Yes, yes. I use phone, but for presentation, I use laptop. Sorry about that. So I'm posting right away the content of the letter. So it's not all captured. Okay.
So thank you so much. We will, although somebody's raising a hand, Loretta is raising her hand. If he is raising her hand. So let's take Loretta first. Please, Loretta, kindly unmute and let's hear from you.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. We are a bit stunted with the full information of this offer, but I commend the fact that we were able to identify the candidate's address. It shows we actually went as far as, noticing that this is where he or she stays. It shows some kind of responsibility that, yes, we want to know more about you by putting your address. But I need to understand, what does it mean by staggered schedule? After giving that candidate 20 minutes of lunch break on his staggered schedule, what's the story behind that? Okay. I mean, if it's a lunch break, I'm entitled to my lunch break, so I shouldn't struggle my lunch break with my work. That's one.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. From my response is that looking at what the the staff will do, our work requires barely 24 hours. Even when she's not at work, she could be contacted, so that's what that phrase covers the flexibility of the assignment there. Maybe we might need to reframe it better.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Loretta, are you comfortable? Are you sure you would like to accept this offer, Loretta?
I will think about it because it's how would I put it? I want to know that wherever I'm working, they should also understand that when it comes to my own time, I shouldn't have to struggle my own personal time with work. There has to be a work-life balance. If my time for work is my time for work, let it be my time for work. But if it's my own personal time, let my time be my personal time. If I am going to be contacted, it has to be based on my own agreement with them, or if we had some agreements. But if it's going to be something that would eat into my own time, I need to understand that from the management that we have to draw out an agreement. So staggered is scary. That's what I mean.
Oh, okay. We review.
Thank you so much. And when we were talking about offer letters and appointment letters, one of the rules there is that your communication should be simple.
Okay.
Be simple and clear to avoid transmitting a different kind of understanding from what the management want to send.
Yes, sir.
The person receiving the offer. Okay, so we may have to review the language used.
Okay,
so
sir.
It doesn't alter the meaning we want to give.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you so much. I will take Debbie and Omolora. Please, 30 seconds. Debbie.
My let's say observation is it's just related to what Loretta said, but I just have a little observation there. The time for the lunch break was not specified. Is it that the staff can go on a lunch break for, I think you said 20 or 30 minutes at any point in time, or is there a specific time, say 12 noon to 1:30 or 1 p.m. to 1:30 or whatever? I just wanted to know the time for the lunch break. It wasn't indicated in the letter of appointment.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, we indicate it clearly, since we have asked not to use coded language.
All right, thank you so much. I really love this class. I'm enjoying this class and the people in this class. Okay. Another important thing we mentioned in writing offer letter and appointment letters and contract offers generally, we talked about details. We need to spell out the details, or as much as available, we need to spell out. Very important. And yes, please, I will also want to point out here that these observations we are making here, these also cause for us individually. When you are given an offer letter or an appointment letter that does not give you all the details you need, please, you stand at liberty liberty to ask for clarity before you go and entangle yourself with what you don't really wanted to. Okay, so please, at all times, we stand at liberty. In safety, we say employees have the right to ask questions. That's your occupational right to ask questions, and the right to be questioned, right to both question and be questioned. So please, let's put that into consideration. And then there was something else I saw. I think it was in group 3. I didn't know how I forgot that. Group 3 stated that their work time is 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Mondays to Fridays. And group 4 is also stating Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Well, this looks more of personnel. The person offering this letter looked more of like a personnel administrator, not a HR person.
Okay.
Yeah, because we are talking about work-life balance. We are talking about integrations and inclusion. We are talking about flexibility in work schedule and all of that. And then we are also talking about adoption of realities, the new dawn realities. Okay, so in this current era, having a schedule of 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., we might need to review some of these things. Okay, we might need to review some of these things. All right, and then group 4, you were mentioning that this person can be called even while he or she is at home to do work. Obviously, those work will not be done by coming to the office, perhaps using a computer, using a phone, or using any internet-enabled device. That's what it could possibly mean. So in that case, we shouldn't be too strict on this 8 to 5 phenomenon. Okay, thank you. So let me take Omolora. Omolora, please kindly unmute and let's hear from you.
Yes, thank you, class. I was just going to make clear about the staggered break issue. In the hospitality industry, we normally do have staggered break because we cannot afford to leave our guests or clients unattended. When they walk in, we should be there to serve them. So this is made known to everyone in hospitality. Their comfort comes before your own. So we also have what we do in a way by which we make reservations for those people that will be on duty at a particular time to have their meals or their break at any period that they feel it is convenient to leave the job and go on break. That is when they have a backup. So this is known to those in the hospitality industry. And then we also have what we do called a schedule of work, rosters, and the work plan. The work comes in as much as the guest demands. So if somebody is a customer relations officer working for an event center in the hospitality industry, this person should be ready to take a booking at any time. Whether you are in transit, whether you are in the air or whatever, there must be an opening by which that person can reach you, and then you can reply within the next 24 hours at most. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Omolora. Industry specifics, thank you for bringing that to bear also.
Thank you.
All right, I think that will be all for group 4. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your perseverance, and thank you for your initiative in putting all this together.
Thank you.
Thank you, and do enjoy the rest of the class.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Please, because of time, we might not take more questions for group 4. So can we have group 2 and group 5? So group 5, if you're ready, let's know group. Okay, Ify, are you presenting for your group, or kindly unmute, let's hear from you. Are you presenting for your group, or you want to ask a question, or you want to make a recommendation? Please kindly unmute, let's hear from you.
Good morning. Good afternoon, sorry.
Are you presenting for your group?
I'm presenting for group 2.
Okay, are you sharing your slide?
I am using a phone right now because I'm actually on the road, so I am supposed to.
Okay.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we are with you. So you're supposed to. So what are we going to presume? Is it that you will share with your phone, or you will just speak from
Okay,
your?
let me try sharing with my phone.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. So while you're working on that, group which group is left? Group 5. Group 5, are you ready? Please keep trying to share your screen while I just get some information. Group 5, are you ready? Okay, group 5 is ready. So please, group 5, who is presenting? Group 5, who is presenting? Okay, you're presenting, but you won't be able to present. Okay, group 5 ready, but won't be able to present. I'm presenting, sir. Okay. Okay, so for group 2 and group 5, please, we will take your presentation by the end of the class for today. Group 2 and group 2 and group 5, please, for the sake of time, we'll take your presentation by the end of today's class. And we encourage that you try to get all tools needed available so that you won't struggle by then. I have about 1 to 2 hours for my class. And then after that, before we go for the next workshop, then you can go ahead and share your screen and then give your presentation. For all the groups that have presented so far, it has been wonderful. It has been practical enough. From group 1 to group 3 to group 4, it has been so practical. For those of us who have been in class, you were in class last week and you are in class today, you partook of the assignment, and somehow you're comfortable that you can develop an appointment letter. Can you type Y in the chat room? Just type Y. If you're confident that you can, with what the workshop that has been taking place since last weekend, you're comfortable, you could do better with developing appointment letters. Kindly type Y. Okay, so thank you so much. And in case there's anyone here who might not be able to develop contract letters or appointment letters or offer letters, please kindly ask your group members to assist. All of those templates, we are going to share them. After this class today, we are going to finally create the Google Classroom. That's where we are going to dump all of this, or not dump. Well, that's where we're going to upload all of these assignments for easy referrals. And they are going to serve as templates for everyone within the group. Okay. All right. Let me quickly ask a question before we proceed. Today is the 3rd week for this program. On a scale of 1 to 5, how has this online training system, how effective has it been for your own kind of learning? On a scale of 1 to 5, please, can you rate how this kind of learning, how effective it is for you? Has it been able to help you build capacity? Has it improved the things, the learning method, has it helped you in improving yourself in any way? Please, on a scale of 1 to 5, can you please give a rating? Okay. So we are seeing 4, 4.5, 5, 4.5. Okay, so for all the people that are given 4, 4.5, and 5, that is A already, like is on a grade of A. So what you're making us believe is that you have really been learning. This method is almost 95 effective for you to learn, perhaps except for maybe network issues and the likes. Okay, so for those who are typing 4 and 4.5, what is the major challenge that didn't allow you to get to 5? What has been the major challenge? Is it personal? Is it something that we can help do? Okay, so someone said poor network. Okay, so poor network. Okay, so someone said network and power issue. Okay, so if there were to be network and power issue, sorry, power issues resolved, that means it could have been a better opportunity. Okay, so thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We just hope that with time, we'll be able to find the most effective network that will help us in our learning. Okay, someone said poor network, bad phone and battery, and my schedule. Okay. Oh, only you. Poor network, bad phone and battery, and your schedule. Okay. Okay. Suggestion to solving network issue is Prof is trying to suggest an approach. He said,
Maybe permit me to just hear it.
okay, please go ahead.
If you are using double SIM and the one that you are active on, as much as possible, mute that number, use data on the other one. Through it, 20, I mean, almost 100%, you won't have disruption in. But I've enjoyed online training since I joined IIPM. With that approach, I don't usually have a network problem. So I thought maybe that's what is helping me. So once I'm online, I disengage my other line on that phone. If not, messages, attention to come in will distract and disrupt the network.
I understand that. That's really true. That's really true. Thank you so much. So if you're using a device, for those of us who use a phone, if you're using a device that is having 2 SIMs at the center, you may have to mute the SIM you're not using to avoid incoming calls and all of that. Okay. And I would like to also say, for most reasons, training online does not really mean absolute convenience. Okay, training online does not really mean absolute convenience. So if the network within your vicinity is not that good, you may have to move to a better location during your classes. For instance, some Saturdays, I really have to go to the office. Okay, I have to, and my office is almost like 1 hour drive. Okay, so I have to go to the office for the sake of network. And just like Prof said, when I'm staying at home, I make sure that the other line, in fact, I forward all my calls. Okay, my phone only has the device I use only has one SIM. So to avoid distractions, I make sure I forward all the possibilities of calls coming to that line to another line completely. Okay, and I make sure I'm off distraction. All right, so these are some recommendations. But for some people, it might be that the location, the network there is quite poor. So you may have to find a network that helps. We know that we have different people from different countries. We might not know the kind of, or the name of network you use there, but Nigeria is the case. We have MTN, Glo, Etisalat, Airtel, and all of that. So if your Airtel is not working too well in your location, maybe you try MTN. If MTN is not too effective, maybe you try Glo. If Glo is not too effective, maybe you try Etisalat. But that does not mean you have to buy all the numbers or buy all the networks because you're in class. Okay. Okay, so someone said in Cameroon we have MTN, Nestel, and Orange. Okay, so perhaps you find the one that is best for your location. Okay. All right. I am so glad that the training is to a great extent effective for the people who are taking the training, and that is our objective. Our objective is that by the end of this training, you should have built capacity in the stated objectives. And one of our objectives, for instance, here is that you should be able, at the end of this carry out HR operations, you should be able to design and administer offer letters or contract letters. And you should also be able to administer training, coordinate training rather, not administer training. You should be able to coordinate training. So the next thing we are going to be dealing with is training and development. Training and development. Our speaker, our lecturer for the first lecture for today is supposed to be on employee engagement. But amazingly, one of our staff is waiting today, and this particular lecturer is representing the institute in that wedding. So I'm swapping with his time. So he will take my section tomorrow, and I will take his section for today. I hope that's good enough. That was actually one of the reasons we had to make sure that the time is not too conflicting for everyone. All right. Okay. Now, please, if I can proceed, kindly type 11 in the chat room. If I should proceed, kindly type 11 in the chat room. If I should proceed, please kindly type 11 in the chat room. All right, thank you so much. I have a hand being raised. Okay, the hand is back. All right. For those of us on YouTube, I may have to, okay, let me just allow it to go through. So we're going to be looking at training and development. In IIPM, we have a course that is called Training and Development Professionals course. It's also a 2-level course for all training consultants, for all HR, for everyone involved in human capital development. Yesterday, one of our staff asked me a question. He said, sir, you take project management, you take HR, you take safety, you take virtually every course in IPM. So which one did you really major in? I perceived that question was a very sincere question so that he would know how to start guiding himself on which area to focus on. And I gave him an answer. In management development, especially as a professional trainer, yes, you could have your areas of competence, but as a management developer, you keep building competence on a daily basis. You keep expanding on your competence. You keep enlarging on your knowledge base. And like I told him yesterday, when it comes to management development, all of those courses, all of these programs are interwoven. For instance, let's assume you teach or you facilitate project management. And then a case happened that a member of the faculty for HR is not around. And then the training coordinator or training manager now says, please, sir, can you help stand in for this HR faculty member that is not currently on seat due to prevailing situations? And your course is going to be on performance management. And then you look at the training coordinator and say, I'm sorry, I don't do HR. I only do project management. And perhaps in your course in project management, you teach performance management in project management. You teach performance management, or you teach monitoring and evaluation. Okay, and you say you don't teach HR. It sounds funny. All of the things we learn, they are all interrelated and they are all interdependent. So we we owe ourselves the responsibility to keep building our competencies around the choosing fields we've taken. All right. Now, that being said, let me ask the question. How many of us here are trainers or facilitators or instructors or teachers or lecturers? If you are, can you type 22 in the chat room? You are a teacher, a lecturer, a facilitator, an instructor. Please, if you are, can you type 22 in the chat room? Okay, so we have a number of 22s coming in. That's good. So that makes it easier for me. You know, one thing with HR course as compared to project management course, for those of us who are just joining us today, if you're just joining us today, you're welcome. Now, one of the major differences teaching project management and teaching other courses is that our project management is completely sequenced. All the topics are sequenced. So if you miss one or you jump one, you might end up not understanding what others are saying. But for courses like HR, each of them are almost, yes, they are interdependent, okay? They are interdependent, right? Interdependent, but on their own individually, they can make meaning. Okay, so HR functions more like a program. Okay, while project management functions more like project. If you miss a task, if you miss a schedule, is like you have to start afresh. But for HR, you join when they are doing organizational development, you understand that one and you can apply it. Okay, you join when they are doing job design, you understand that one and you can apply it. But that's not really the same with project management. Project management, you miss one class, you just feel like starting afresh the next time you come on the next class. All right. So what am I saying? For anyone joining us today, this course or this particular section, after we are done, you'll be able to apply the knowledge shared here in your own field as a HR, as a consultant, as a teacher, as a lecturer, as a course instructor, as a human capital developer. All right. Now, if you remember the scope of HR, one of the major components of HR is training and development. Training and development. And is core, is very, very key in human resource development, human resource management. So that's what we're going to look at in this few minutes we have. And after that, we'll be sharing the grace and everybody will be going home. So let's do a little calculation. Look at what you're seeing on your screen and please give me your answer. You have 1 minute. I trust you could see my screen. Please, if you can see my screen where you see attention, please kindly type 11. You can see my screen, kindly type 11. All right, thank you for seeing my screen. Okay, so you have 1 minute. Whoever gets this answer gets to have a very good gift from me. So let me have your answer. Your time starts now. In the next 1 minute, I expect your answer. Okay, so I have the first answer. I have the second answer. I have the third answer. Fourth answer, fifth answer, seventh answer. I also have the eighth answer. Okay. We have 10 seconds to go. 8 seconds, 5 seconds. Okay, Philippa, your hand is up. So your time is up. Let's have the answer. Oh, yeah, Philippa, please unmute and let's hear from you. Philippa, your hand is up. Kindly unmute. Let's hear from you. Philippa? Okay, so I perceive perhaps that hand was raised in mistake. Okay, so we had basically two kinds of answers. We had 0 and 4, 0 and 4, 0 and 4. Well, the truth is that even me myself that is asking the question, I don't really know the answer, because my intention is not to get the answer. My intention is to get your attention. Okay, right. So my intention is not to get the answer. My intention is to get the answer. Sorry, get your attention, right? Okay. So thank you so much for giving me your attention. Okay, so if you solved and got 4, that is the answer. If you solved and got 0, that is the answer. But for me, the answer I wanted is your attention, all right? Okay. Thank you so much.
Why you?
All right, thank you so much. Now, why did we have to do this? Why do we need attention? Why do we need attention? Why do we need attention? As a trainer, as a facilitator, as a lecturer, as a teacher, we need to understand that the most important thing we want from our participants, our students, our trainees, our audience when we are training them is their attention. That's the most important thing we want from them. As soon as they enter into our class, they enter into our workshop, they enter into our seminar, they enter into the conference we're anchoring, the most important thing we want from them is attention. So I will need you to do something for me. Can you please type in the chat room that attention is key? Can you type attention is key? In the chat room, can you type that? Attention is key. Attention is key. All right. Thank you so much. So now that we know that, basically in training and development, what you want to do is to secure, maintain, and keep attention from beginning of your section to the end of your section. That's what you want to do. Okay, all right, Philippa, thank you. What we want to do as trainers, as consultants, as facilitators, as course instructors, is to secure attention. Now, when you give assignment, what you want to do is securing attention. When you ask your students to make mini presentations, all you want to do is to secure their attention. And you need that attention for them to be able to participate in whatsoever thing you're teaching or you're bringing to their notice. You know, we will review, because this is not a complete training and development course. This is just a part of it. So we just review training and development, and then look at some of the approaches we could use in making sure that we have the best of learning experience, okay, during trainings. All right, now let's quickly look at what we have here. Okay, so if you wanted to solve that thing, you might need a board mass. It will help you. So if you've not gotten your answer, please use board mass, but please, I'm no longer interested in the answer, just give me your attention. Now, training and development overview, these are the things we want to review: the introduction, the views on training and development process, training methods, categories of training and development, training and development skills and competencies. Then finally, we will look at training evaluation. That seems not to be captured here. We'll look at training evaluation. After the training evaluation, then we'll go to workshops. And for those who were not in groups before, we can then add them to groups, right? So let's go. What are the objectives we want to achieve here? By the end of this section, we want to, participants will be able to review the concepts of training and development, determine the essence of management development, and justify training and development process for any organization. Now, when we say training and development in HR perspective, is much tilted towards staff development. We call it capacity development, right? Human capital development. So we want to determine the essence of human capital development or the essence of staff development, okay, via training. Now, by human resources development is the key factor for enterprise competitiveness and survival in market-oriented economies. I will want to say that in most organizations, training are considered as cost item. Most of the people attending these trainings today, or that ever attended this HR training, or that ever attended any of IPM's training, there are some organizations where performance is highly rated, but training is highly undervalued. So they are looking for cost-effective ways to make sure that they meet up with performance. All right. Then some of the people who might be able to pay for the training or pay for the certificate at the end of the day are the ones who their organization lay emphasis on training and they make provision for training, and then some already have a schedule of what training to go for the year. So you know what training to go for your promotion and all of that. You have that. All right. But whichever reason that we go for training, the primary thing that we must put into consideration is that training is originally designed to help participants develop skills, build skills, knowledge, abilities, attitude, competencies that will help them improve in their performance. Whatsoever thing you're doing in the training world, the essence at the end of the day is improved performance. The evidence, the proof that yes, you have improved your skill, you've improved your attitude, you've improved your competency, you've improved your knowledge, is all tied around improved performance. Okay, improved performance. All right. And that's why I normally encourage people, before you go for any kind of training at all, please make sure you have clearly defined goals and objectives. Please make sure you have clearly defined goals and objectives, because what will justify whether the training has value on you is if you are able to use the training to achieve your goals and objectives. Then you can say, yes, this training had value, this training had impact. But if there was no clearly defined goals and objectives, we'll end up saying things like, no knowledge is a waste. That's why I went for it. I must tell you the truth. Some knowledge will become waste if there are no opportunities to use them. No knowledge is a waste if there is opportunity, or if there are opportunities to use the acquired knowledge. Or if there is no opportunity to use the knowledge, if you go to the grave with the knowledge, what value was it? Okay, so what this means is that for every knowledge, for every training to produce, there must be performance targets towards them. There must be clearly defined goals and objectives towards them. Okay, and that's why you see us in IIPM, when we call for some of our programs and we tell you that it's free, we know that, yes, there are people that this is not part of their schedule, but they still need to know these things, right? There are some people that by the end of the training, they would have discovered more about themselves, and they will be able to use the learning. It becomes, it wasn't a conscious discovery, it was a forced discovery, okay? you were forced to discover yourself by passing through the learning which you never had in your schedule or program of events for the year, for the month, for the week, as the case may be. So when we have our trainees open and say, okay, you pay at the end of the day, we only want those who really have the impact of that training to have the value that associate with it. We don't want a situation where somebody will say, I went for that course. In fact, I had a case sometimes ago. We have this NYSC partnership. So I was invited to the camp, Nasra State Camp to be precise. And after my section on the podium, a young man approached me. In fact, I had like 3 young men with different views that day. A young man approached me. I was like, wow, that his brother had already told him to look out for IIPM when he gets to camp. So he had already made up his mind, even before coming to camp, to take a course. So he had a guide from home. He had someone telling him what professional courses was all about and how the professional courses could help advance his life. Then another one had another experience. According to him, his elder brother took a professional course, not with us anyway. He took a course and he said for like 7 years, the young man doesn't have a job. And then we want him to come and take a professional course when his elder brother that took the course does not have a job. That all these professional courses that they mentioned, they are scam. All right. And then the third person came to now ask, this one has not heard of it before. So there are 3 people. The first one has heard about it, had been guided about it, and is ready to go in for it. The second person has heard about it, but now he has a negative, he had a negative perception to it, all right? Or his own personal perception to it. And the third person does not know about it at all. And most often when we are drafting training programs and all of that, these categories of people, we also need to put them into perspective. There are people who will come to your class to challenge you based on the experiences they had from past experiences or the likes. All right. So in training for IPM as a case, we want those, you see, our certificate is a very important asset to us. We don't even want it to enter the hand of everybody. We want it to enter the hand of those who really know what it's for. That's our own. We are not interested in let everybody get it, let 100 people pay for it. No. We are not interested in that. We are interested in those who understand the value, first, the training put in their lives and the value that the certificate carries. It makes it easier for us. So we have less conflict. Okay, we have less conflict. All right. I went for a training in project management in a particular organization. And prior to the training, I came into the training was hosted in a hotel. So prior to the training, I came into the hotel a night to the training. So I sat in the lounge. While the discussions were going on, I observed that most of my trainees were people that were sitting in that lounge. So I keenly listened to them. I saw people with different views, different perceptions, and all of that. They were not talking about project management, but their general perception to life, their general perception to job, their general perception to the organizations already told me the kind of people I was going to meet in class. And the next day was my class. So I went in where I was teaching project management. And there was this man. He was quite inquisitive. His questions were not to get answers. His questions were to prove to his organization that this young man they brought may not be a perfect fit for the caliber of people that they brought him for. The training was for top executives. So his questions were like, let him prove to the management that maybe they had an underground issue. He wanted to bring someone and they disagreed. So they brought IPM. So, and then IPM sent me. So he wanted to discredit the whole thing. And he asked every question he asked, I will answer providing the best professional view to his question. And first session went, second session went. The second day of the training, he actually came to me to confess. He says, you know, it's not that I hate you. It's not that I have any, but I have, he had a PhD, okay? And then he had, I think, PhD in management. He had an MBA in project management. He had a project management professional certification. He had Prince 2 certification. He had Agile certification. So basically all the high-handed level certifications in project management, adding to his PhD. He wanted to prove that perhaps this young man is not the best fit for us. But by the end of the day, after all the whole interactions in class, he came to me and there was like, wow, that this kind of training, he has never seen it before. Then when he mentioned all of his qualifications, he now said that, yes, he had been able to go through all of his training, but it has never been as practical, it has never been as relatable as the whole training went. Now, where am I going to? You going to becoming a training coordinator, or perhaps training facilitator, instructor, lecturer, teacher, and all of that. You just have to know your onions very well. It is on that basis that your audience, you will be able to get their attention. Okay, you'll be able to get their attention. Now, I want to ask a question. How many of us have ever, you've been in a class, or you've been in a seminar, you've been in a conference, you've been in a human capital development environment, but based on the kind of person that was facilitating that section, you were tuned off. You were tuned off, that you started doing something else completely. If you've ever found yourself in that kind of environment, kindly type 00 in the chat room. You were in a training, you were in a workshop, you were in a seminar, and then based on the kind of person that was training, you were tuned off. Maybe the person was just reading from the slide, or just reading from the book, or just sharing experiences that were not correlating, and then you just tuned off. Okay, and then somebody had to tap you and say, we are done. You say, okay. Okay. And then some of us will be frequently going to urinate ourselves. Okay. But for you, at this point, it's no longer supposed to be so. We need to re-engineer the whole process. Okay, we need to re-engineer the whole process. Please let your focus be on the fact that whatever thing you're bringing in, it should be able to build competitiveness for the person. First, the person taking the training, there must be some level of competitiveness above his equal. After his training with you, he or she should feel like, oh, I'm better off than the rest. And that is what is going to rub off on the organization to form enterprise competitiveness. Also, let it be part of, like, even if every other person is going to be thrown out of this organization, I will not be thrown out because he feels the training has become a survival strategy, a survival approach for him. Okay, let me even ask. For those of us who have attended IPM programs, first, you've attended IPM programs, you have IPM certificates, and the training made you feel like, wow, you have come up a little. You can now do better. You felt good after the training. You've attended IPM training, you have a certificate, and you felt good. You felt some level of honor when you got done. If you're in that category here, can you type 1 in the chat room? I'm not talking, if this is your first time, don't bother typing no. For those of us who have attended some other trainings by IPM, and afterwards, you felt good, you felt nice, you felt like, and if they like, let them bring the whole job, I can do it now. Okay, so I have some few hands coming up. Okay. So training is supposed to give us some kind of leverage. That's where we are going to. Not that it should take us down, rather it should give us some sort of leverage. Okay, it should give us some sort of leverage to becoming better, to becoming respected, to becoming promoted. Okay, that's where we are going to. So any training you will ever do, you know, some of us here, with time, you become part of our faculty. Well, most people will indicate interest, but when we do our trainings, we already know who will join us. Based on the interactions we are receiving, we know this person is passionate about training and development. Okay, why not come and join us, all right? So with time, there are some of us that will join us. Okay, join us on this other side of the purview. All right. Now, second thing, let me repeat again. The first statement here is that performance, the training should be geared towards performance, and performance is measured based on well-set goals and objectives. All right. Number two, an organization obtains results when every staff contributes his or her tasks as component of its human capital or resource. Tasks. Tasks vary in complexity and requirements across organizations. Required competencies to perform tasks form the basis for recruitment, selection, placement, and promotion. Okay. Training and development are critical to get this done. Now, quickly, let's move ahead. The purpose of management training and development is to develop more competent and more effective managers and leaders. Okay. Please kindly confirm that you're still seeing my screen. I've moved on to the next slide. Please kindly confirm if you could see my screen. Kindly type 22. If my screen is still visible, kindly type 22. All right, thank you. Training and development is a structured program with different methods designed by professionals in particular job. It has become most common and continuous task in any organization for updating skills and knowledge of employees in accordance with changing environment. Now, I want to say this loud and clear. Even if you're working with a government agency, please note that training and development remains one of the major keys, one of the major determining factors for your promotion, whether you believe it or yes. Even if you work in government sector that they will tell you it doesn't matter, it matters. It matters. And I will say this, if you ever take any training or development program with or without the consent of your organization, please, immediately you're done, make sure you submit the acquired credentials, including certificate of attendance, certificate of participation, certificate of completion. No matter the name of the certificate, please make sure you update your record with the HR department. Because for every training you went to, for every training you attend, there is a specified professional development unit that you gathered, be it 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. Please make sure you update your records with your HR department. Recently, someone shared an experience with me. She works with a government agency. Now, she had been attending a whole lot of programs, especially those people that joined us during COVID. Okay, you had all the time to attend trainings. And she said she had been updating this with the record, the HR records. And then it was time for promotion. And she was going the promotion interview. She had written the promotion exam, done everything. It was just for them to verify that she had further acquired more knowledge, or she had continuously developed herself to be promoted. And then from the all of a sudden, they were asking her, when was the last time you went for any training? They couldn't see any proof. And when was the last time you attended the workshop? What of seminar? Okay, what of conference? You've not attended anyone. And then she said she told them, oh, she had been attending training, that she has submitted all of that to the HR records. And fortunately for her, she had been paying for the certificates of the program she had been attending. So she did not just come and go. Okay, she had been paying for the certificate. And she said she went to that promotion interview with her hard copy certificate. And when they tried to argue with her that she has not done anything, she had to pull out her files and then show to them that these are the original certificates or the original proofs of the record she has with the HR department. And that was how she scaled through the promotion. She had passed her exam, but there were some other nitty-gritties that would have hindered her if she did not update her records. So it's one thing to attend the training, it's another thing to have proof that yes, you attended the training. That's very, very important. Please note, I am not by this in any means telling you to go and pay for certificate. No, that's not what I'm saying. But it's good that when you're done for a training, especially a professional development training, this particular training is 25 hours PDU. So it's not something you say, I have my PhD, I have my MBA, so I don't need it. You need it. You just need it. You need that 25 PDU. Even if you don't need the certificate, you need to prove that, yes, you've attended the workshop. Some government agencies, the whole year, what you might need is 7 hours. 7 hours of professional development. Some, all you might need is 12 hours. So when you have 25 hours, so some professional bodies, if you're going for revalidation, all they want to prove is that you have 6 hours of professional development unit before you go for your renewal of license or renewal of certification. So all of these things have their own role to play. Okay, they have their own role to play. Updating our skills, updating our knowledge comes through training and development. And that has their own role to play in advancing our careers. Optimization of cost with available resources has become pressing need for every organization, which will be possible only by way of improving efficiency and productivity of employees. Possible only by way of providing proper employee training and development. Condition to that, it should be provided by professionals. It's not training and development should be administered by professionals. Should be administered by professionals. In Nigeria, we have the National Council for Management Development. If you want to practice as a management developer in Nigeria, you're expected to go and get your accreditation from them. If you want to practice as a HR in Nigeria, you're expected to go and obtain your license from what do you call them? CIPM, Chartered Institute of Personnel Management. Okay, although if you have your NCMD accreditation, it covers for most other management professions out there. Okay, and this will help. Now, I had another experience. Someone shared his experience with me. He applied for the job of a lecturer in a particular university, and it's a federal university. Okay, I will withhold the name of the university. And I said, they've done all the screening and everything. 2 candidates were remaining. 2 candidates, himself and the wife of the registrar of the school. Now, by default, the wife of the registrar just assumed that, okay, since she's the wife of the registrar, she will definitely get the job. And he, the young man, didn't have any other thing. Okay. And then in the last phase of the interview, just to select among the 2 who should be the best bet for the job. And they said they were talking to him, and they said that he has not, he has not gone to any development trainings. He has not gone for. So for this particular job, they need people who have advanced themselves beyond the academic field. Okay. The man said, he told them, give me a moment. He went and pulled out his records and was bringing a certificate one after the other. Both attendance certificate, completion certificate, participation certificate, membership certificate. He said he had more than 20 certificates. By the time he pulled it out, within a space of 48 hours, they gave him the contract, the appointment letter, and the registrar's wife was denied the opportunity. To tell you how valuable people are. Okay, to tell you how valuable people are. Your attention when you go for training is actually keep building value, all right? But make sure that that value is targeted towards defined goals and objectives, all right? Very, very important. Quickly, let's look at some definitions as we proceed. Please, once again, kindly confirm that my screen is still visible. You can see it. If you can see my screen visible enough, please kindly type 1 in the chat room. You can see definitions. Please kindly type 1 in the chat room. All right. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you, Doyin. All right. Now, training and development is the continuous process of improving skills, gaining knowledge, clarifying concepts, and changing attitude through structured and planned education by which the productivity and performance of the employees can be enhanced. I want you to note the key words there. Training and development is the, not is a, it is the. That means it is the main thing when it comes to developing oneself. It is the continuous process. So CPD is a continuous professional development is a requirement for continuous career advancement, for continuous business advancement, for continuous life advancement. CPD is a continuous process of improving skills, gaining knowledge, clarifying concepts, and changing attitude through structured and planned education by which productivity and performance, all of these skills you're gaining knowledge, clarifying concept, changing attitude, they are all towards what? Productivity and performance, towards productivity and performance. Training and development emphasize on the improvement of the performance of individuals as well as groups through a proper system within the organization, which focuses on the skills, methodology, and content required to achieve the objective. Training needs analysis is a systematic process of identifying which kind of training is required and provide the details related to training implementation. Please note, before any training and development activity will be done, there must have been a training needs analysis. We call it TNA. Some call it LNA, learning needs analysis. Some call it TNA, training needs analysis. Now, whether TNA or LNA, they are just the same thing. The TNA is a prior assignment, pre-assignment carried out to identify the learning gaps, the training needs gap that exists that can be filled through training. And that's why we say, before you take any training, please make sure that you've identified defined goals that training will help you achieve. Okay? If not, that training might become ineffective. And when training becomes ineffective for someone, it could build some kind of mindset in the person that training is an ineffective adventure, a cost implicating adventure, and all of that. Okay, so we need to be sure of the purpose of the training. We need to be sure of the importance and the value the training and perhaps the certificate and the network we are going to build within that training will help us achieve. And then that will be a deciding factor, okay, of whether we should go in or not. And I'm going to share a little experience with you. When you discover learning needs, what matters most afterwards is not the cost of the training. Please note, when you discover learning needs, you've itemized your learning needs, you have a report on learning needs after you've done your employee learning needs analysis. When you have your report, what matters most afterwards is not the cost of securing that training. What matters most afterwards is the content that the training will deliver, the curriculum of that training. Will it meet up with the objective? Recently, I had a learning need. I wanted to build my competency in a particular area. It's a HR related area anyway, just one fragment of HR. And then I started searching through the internet, looking for organizations that do such. And I searched for CIPM in Nigeria. CIPM was not offering that program. I searched for SHRM. SHRM was not offering the program. I searched for HRCI. They were not offering the program. I ended up finding the program in an institute in India. Now, when I saw the institute and I read through their content, I was convinced that yes, this is what I wanted to do. Now, that institute, their program is $600. Okay, $600. And then, while I was taking the program, I now saw another program. I've already paid the $600 and the likes. I now saw another program on the same program. And then I checked the content. The content was not enough. In the introduction that was done in the one I paid for $600, the content of the other one that I just saw, that cost was going to be for about $200, or sorry, $250, right? But the content was not as the content of the one of $600. For what I wanted for the total competency build-up I wanted, I knew that the $600 was the better offer for me. Okay, and then the $200 was like introduction to this, and then it was just 3 things they were going to look at. I was like, wow, so why will I have to pay $250 for this? Okay, now someone who is cost-driven might say, okay, this $600 is too much. I'll just pay $250. You pay $250, but at the end of the day, you will only define the term involved in that particular profession, but you won't be able to carry it out. So after learning needs analysis or training needs analysis, the most important thing you should put first into consideration is not the cost of the training. It's not the cost of the certification. What matters most is evaluation of the learning content, evaluation, the curriculum, the evaluation of the learning content. And the curriculum we have to carry alongside with it, the process you're going to follow in delivering the training, the methodology you're going to be using in delivering the training, the objectives of the training or the T&D program. And then you have the outline, not just outline, but the targeted objective of each of the sections in the outline. That would now tell you, okay, is this good enough for me as a person? Is it good for us as an organization? Okay, and then that would determine what cost you will have to incur. Recently, we had an agency that called us for a training. Okay, one of our members worked in the agency and he recommended IPM to the agency, and then they called us. We submitted our training proposals and everything. At the end of the day, we went for a face-to-face. They said we should come and defend that our training cost was too much. Okay. Now the cost we gave them was about 300,000 per head for 5 days training. Okay. They said it was too much, so we needed to come and defend the training. Now, when we came, we didn't know that they've already had other people, other companies that they've contracted also. So by the end of the whole process, the director in charge said something in the whole board. He said, these people, their own is different. They are not like the other people who have been coming here. In fact, other trainings we've been going for is like those people is like they don't know how to do it. These people know what they are doing and they know how to do it. Now, when they got to us, they told us that they can only pay 120,000 for 5 days. All right. And when we first entered that venue and the director started talking, he said he doesn't know what to go and tell them to go beyond the 120. Now, by the time we left that venue, we ended up on an agreement of 300,000. 300,000. The man said, I will push it. Okay. He said, I will what? After we finished, he said, no, this is good enough. I will push it. He told the training and development coordinator, he said, we will take this one. And they signed everything we needed to. And then we proceeded. So where am I going to? Learning needs analysis. One, from learning needs analysis, see your content. See content, curriculum, right? Very, very important. And then from curriculum to your training process, your training methodology, your training objectives, they are very, very key. Very, 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 very key. Okay. Now, it is also known as a tool to identify the new skills knowledge and attitudes which employees need to acquire in order to improve performance. I was talking about the training needs analysis. Okay, now let me be sure that you're on the same page with me. Please, if you're on the same page with me, you're learning something, can you type 66 in the chat room? If you're learning something in this particular, can you type 66 in the chat room? Okay, thank you. An effective training and development initiative based on training needs analysis helps the company to enhance the skills of working manpower and improve productivity. All right. So it's important that we pay attention to what? To learning needs analysis. Learning needs analysis. Right. Very, very important. Now, quickly, let's look at the difference or have the comparison between training and development. Training is short-term with concrete goals, verifiable goals. Okay. Development is long-term with open-ended and ongoing goals. Training focuses on the role, while development focuses on the person. And that's why when we talk about training and development, they call it management and leadership development. The development that focuses more on developing the character and personality of the person, while training focuses on building the competencies, the technical abilities, the on-the-job skills required for the person. So development focuses more on leadership development, while training focuses more on the technical side of the job. Hope you understand that. Now, training focuses more or aims at specific job or role requirement, while development more conceptual and focuses on the overall progression of the person. So career management, your career management is dependent on your level of development. All right. Training revolves around immediate or present needs. Developments are futuristic. Training focuses on knowledge and skills enhancement for a particular job or role. Development focuses on career building and progression. Training focuses or is group focused, example, workshops, seminars, classroom. Development is personalized experience. Training has to do with organization, most often take care of training, but development, individuals take care of their development. Individuals take care of their development. When it comes to training and perhaps on-the-job training, it is the organization that decides what kind of training you go for. But when you are bent on building your career, you are the one that decides which kind of development programs you go for. Okay, you decide which kind of development programs you go for. Some of us in this program are independent consultants, so you don't have to talk about your job or your company sending you. So you're more of focusing on the development of your career, the development of your consulting profession, the development of your consulting outfit. That's what you're looking at, more on the packaging of value that you have as a person. All right. And that's why some of these trainings that come and it takes the pain, you have to take the pain to pay for them, and then most often they are the one that pay you the most, because first you identify the need in it before going in for it. Okay. Some of us, those corporate-based training, the one the organization sent to us, with the kind of people that come for the training, it's always like, we don't even know why they organize this training. They just spent money. Okay. Now, why do we organize training and development? Why do we need to go for training and development? Number one, for effective change management, for employee performance improvement, for transfer of knowledge, for enhancing organizational productivity, for gaining strategic and competitive advantage, and for succession planning, among others. Okay. Now, benefits of training and development: offers optimal utilization of human resources, enhances skill development, increases productivity, improves organizational culture, improves quality and safety, increases profitability, both for the organization and for the individual, improves company's morale and corporate image, boosts team trust and motivation. Now, let me quickly ask, what are the benefits of training and development to individuals? This one, we are looking more of it on the corporate base because we are talking about HR in organizations, right? Okay. Now, what are the benefits of T&D to individuals? As a person, what's the benefit of T&D? Benefit of T&D. Please feel free to raise your hand. Let's unmute you. I will only take 3 options or 3 voices, and then we'll go back to the class. Benefits of T&D to individuals. Benefit of T&D to individuals. Someone said improve job performance. All right, thank you. Now, let's not just look at the organization. I'm talking of personally, you as a person. Capacity building, okay. Which other one? It boosts my confidence as an individual. All right, thank you so much. Now, let me be very open to you. If you have intention of consulting, okay, if you have intention of consulting, the value you deliver is directly proportional to the value you receive. The value you deliver is directly proportional to the value you receive. As an employee, the value you deliver from your training and development is directly proportional to the value you also receive. So by training and development, we have opportunities for increased allowances or increased remunerations, possibilities of promotions, possibilities of gaining higher respect and honor within the workplace, possibility of getting access to privileged information because of the level of your development. Okay, so there are several benefits that come alongside with it. All right, there are several other benefits. Now, quickly, let's have look at the views on training and development. We have the traditional view and we have the modern view. The traditional view is like the personnel side of it, and the modern view is like the HR side of it. The traditional view says most of the organizations before never used to believe in training. Yeah. Some organizations don't believe in training. They think that training is an expensive adventure. They view holding the traditional view that managers are born and not made. Okay, managers are born. So why will I have to go and spend money in the name of building or developing someone when managers are made? Sorry, managers are born and not made, and that's a misconception. Okay, there were also some views that training is very costly affair and not what. That's the traditional view. Then you have the modern view that says training and development is the key factor for enterprise competitiveness and survival in market-oriented economies. These are people who are focusing on effective training. They don't just come up with training. Before they do any training, they would have conducted training needs analysis and then gone to develop effective training curriculum, and then they will procure professionals to deliver these trainings. Okay, training is now considered as more of retention tool than a cost tool. The training system across the globe has been changed to create a smarter workforce and yield the best result. All right. Now, training objectives. We have the societal objective, we have the organizational, we have the functional, we have the individual. Like I said, before you go for any training, let there be well-stated goals. But more often, we most stop at our training learning needs objective. Most of us don't pass beyond individual and functional. Okay, so you have your individual goals for training. You have your functional goal, that's task or role-oriented objective. Then you have the organizational, that's the management-based objective. But there is also the impact level, which is the societal objective. By being a HR professional, you have your personal objective, you have your functional objective, you have your organizational objective, but more importantly, you are to serve as a change agent in the society. So for every training, we're expected to bring in some level of benefit at societal levels. Okay, at societal levels. Let me give you an instance. Someday, somehow, that's if you've not been in that category, someday, somehow, you'll be called on an interview, maybe on air, on television, on radio, or you'll be on on publication, and then you'll be talking about HR trends in Africa. Will you be saying our government is not doing well, our government is not this, our government is not that? No, you're going to be profiling solutions that will be helpful to the entire society that will be reading that particular publication of your interview, or they'll be watching, or they'll be listening. That will become more of a top level dimension of the value you've generated. First of all, it started with a personal revolution. It went on to revolutionizing your department, your job. It went on to revolutionizing your organization. And then it went off to rubbing off on the entire society. Please, what I'm going to say now is a disclaimer. I'm not one that generated this, and I am not bringing it up in any way to cause chaos or deviate your attention. Okay, I'm just bringing it to buttress some of the points I'm sharing. Currently in Nigeria, there was a particular bank that shared an advert that caused some sort of religious uproar. And the society is now demanding that the MD of that bank should be removed. I didn't really follow up, but there was some level of religious inclination to the advert, and knowing fully well that Nigeria is a highly sensitive place when it comes to religion, some sort of people rose up and said, no, this is an insult and we won't take it. And some of them started putting up some cases to file against this bank. Okay, now that's the impact of objectives. Perhaps he conceived that advert on an individual level, and perhaps doesn't really, all he wanted to do was compliment for the season, had a compliment for the season, and then he threw it to the department for marketing purposes, and the marketing through the organization published the advert. Now it's having a societal effect. Societal effect. Okay, so when it comes to learning and development, we shouldn't just think it's just me, myself, and I. No, it rubs off on you, your department, or the people you work with, on the general organization, and then the society at large. And when we say society, we don't just talk about your country or your location. We are talking about the entire human race. Okay, all right. Thank you so much. But how many of us even heard of that news of this particular bank that shared an advert during Easter, and then they are requesting that the MD of that bank should be removed? How many of us heard of that story, or you read it? If you heard or read or saw, kindly type 22 in the chat room. I didn't say you type the name of the bank, or just type 22. Okay, so I'm not the only one. Okay, thank you, Doni. Thank you, Kate. So I'm not the only one. But these are some of the things. The agege bread issue. Yes, the agege bread issue. Okay, you're the one that said so. All right, thank you so much. That makes sure people are good with information. Now, training and development process. Training and development process. I would like you to pay very good attention here, because this is where your work and your practice comes to bear as a training coordinator or as a training provider. All right. What are the processes involved in training and development? Number one, we have what we call the training needs analysis. Training needs analysis. That's the first one. And I've already established what the training needs analysis is all about. Number two, setting objectives, learning objectives. Hi. I wish you have the time to attend the training and development professionals course. We have all of these individual topics or individual things you see here, all of these individual processes, they are individual sessions in the training and development course. Okay. Professor Taiwo had been in that class before. I Professor Taiwo, will you recommend people to take that course on training and development professional? Is he still in this class? Professor Taiwo, is he still in this class? Okay. So Professor Taiwo, what would be your recommendation? Do you think they need to take that course? Then the next one we have is training design. Training design. Training design. Training design. And then the next one is training budget. Training budget. And then the next one is training execution. They will have monitoring and evaluation of training. Training, monitoring, and evaluation. So while the first one is finding out the learning needs, which is training needs analysis, the second one is coming up with goals that will meet up with those issues, with those needs that have been identified. Then the third one is to design the curriculum. In designing the curriculum, you design the curriculum, you design the training methodology, you design the training administration completely, all right? Then you have the training budget, the cost of the training venue, the training logistics, cost of facilitation, cost of materials, all of the logistics involved. You need to bear that, put that into consideration. And then you have your training execution. That's where the coordinator now comes in, ensuring that he or she makes sure that the training design is carried out the way it was designed. And then you have the monitoring and evaluation team. The monitoring and evaluation team is actually a twofold thing. You have the training department developing the feedback template, while the trainees are the one that give you the feedback to tell you the dimension of assimilation, the dimension of applicability, how the objectives are met, how the content related to their learning needs, and all of that. So if you ever do training without M&E, please, from today, start using an M&E. Okay, start using an M&E. Have your M&E to work with. All right. Now, do I have any question here before I proceed? Because we are gradually rounding up. Do I have any question on this training process? Any question, any review, any comment before we proceed? Questions, observations? Okay, TME simply means training, monitoring, and evaluation. Training, monitoring, and evaluation. So it's more of getting the feedback from trainees. Okay. You say the TNA can be two sides, right? Yes, you have. I think what you mean by two sides is coming from both the employer and employee. All right. Those who need training and you who is training. Okay. So when it comes to how to get information on your TNA, you get from the trainees, you get from the organization. Then you may also need some subject matter experts to now advise you on that TNA so that you can finalize on which training you will provide at the end of the day. Okay. Let's take, for instance, performance, customer service is dropping, or perhaps customers are raising red flags over your company's product and services. And then you decided to conduct a TNA on that. Okay. And then in conducting that TNA, obviously you will get training need from customer service, you get training need from marketing, you get training needs from operations department. You're possibly going to get training needs from the consultant himself or herself based on what he might think. The interactions you've had, you may want to put up something. Now, does that mean you are going to put, and then the management also might also have their own training need feedback. They might think it's because of the behavior of staff. So now, are you going to do a behavior-based training? Are you going to do an operations training? Are you going to do a marketing training? Or do you have to now go down, go and ring more your training needs analysis and find the root cause of the problem? When you find the root cause of the problem, then you will find out that you would have reduced excess costs. Instead of running all trainings, you will go straight to what exactly the problem is and fix it. And then it's also important for us to remember and put to mind that not all issues within an organization will be solved by training. Some will be solved by coaching, some will be solved by supervision, some will be solved by consulting and the likes. Most often, after training, there may be need to continue consulting. Okay, after training needs has been met, there may be need to continue consulting. Now, remember that development is a long-term process. Training is a short-term process. Now, if it is a training that requires that the impact be evaluated over a long-term process, you may have need to engage the consultant more to measure the developmental stages and the developmental processes, and then through coaching and mentoring, provide more guide to the people who those training were meant for. Okay, all right, let me see. Okay, so someone said, is feedback embedded inside TME or it comes after TME? Okay, so feedback is a tool we use in monitoring and evaluation. Feedback is a tool we use in monitoring and evaluation, right? Feedback is a tool we use in monitoring and evaluation, all right? Thank you. Okay, so we have a hand up. Please, Honorable Austin, kindly unmute and let's hear from you, sir.
Okay. Benito.
Well done, sir.
Thank you very much. A very good afternoon to the house.
Yes.
There is this, with respect to what you said, this is just a contribution from my observation and not just a question.
Okay.
With respect to the training needs assessment,
okay.
I had an experience with working in an organization where we followed the name of the training institute and not doing a proper or thorough needs assessment when it comes to training. I know you may have an experience with what I'm saying now. Now, this is a foreign institute, and they sent us this proposal for training, and we accepted. We looked at them. They had this very big name in UK, and even in Nigeria, they always come to offer training.
Whoa. Please, can someone still hear him? I hope I'm not the one being cut off here. Okay, Mr. Austin, hi, your audio has gone. I can hear you, and it seems we are not hearing you. Please, Mr. Austin, if you can hear me. That question, or that contribution would have been a lovely one. But it seems the network is challenging in that direction. Or maybe a call has come in to disrupt this wonderful contribution. Okay, so sorry about that. Maybe he will come back, but it seems he has even gone out completely. Okay, please, Mr. Austin, if you can hear me, please, you still have the privilege of unmuting, and let's hear your conclusion. You went off and we couldn't hear you again. Please.
Okay, so sorry about that.
All right, go ahead, sir.
Okay, so we got this certificate after the training, and what we enjoyed in the certificate was first the name of this renowned institute, the Training Institute, and we carried on with that certificate until I attended IIPM training later in 2020. What I discovered was that what we actually had for that price, $6,000 for 4 staff, was actually the foundation. $6,000.
You need to refund us.
We actually had the certificate of participation, that is one, and it was just training on project management foundation level.
Wow.
So it was when I even came to IPM that I got to understand this. So I think why I'm saying this is because of the needs analysis or assessment that we spoke about. So let me not take our time. I just said that it's right. I send this.
Wow, this is you said $6,000 for 4 staff. That's lovely. That's lovely. Okay. So that's, by the way, and I know most of us still do it. Okay, like some people are much more interested in the name of the organization. If it is a big name, we are ready to pay anything, but we are not much interested in the learning needs, as the case may be. So we personally, all of us need to be conscious of all of these things. Okay. Do we have any other contribution?
I'm disappointed last minute.
I'm disappointed. Yeah.
Okay, so was that person speaking French? Okay. Do we have any other question? You know, we have a whole lot of people here. So we have French-speaking countries here. Yeah, we have people from Cameroon. We have people from Benin Republic. Okay, so they might be conversing in the background without knowing that they are. Okay, so as a training consultant, as a training person, please, let's follow the process. First, conduct a TNA. Second, set objectives. 3, design your training. That's the curriculum of training. And then have your training budget, have your execution or administration, training administration, and then have your M&E, your evaluation. Okay. Someone is asking what module is this? This is module 7. This is module 7. All right. Now, quickly, let's look at training methods. Training methods. Okay. When it comes to training and development, more of training and development is targeted towards adults. However, we have 2 basic psychology towards training and development. We have what we call the pedagogy, and we have what we call the andragogy. Pedagogy has to do with training and development for children. Andragogy has to do with learning and development for adults. And one of the characteristics of adults is that you really need to offer good value for you to secure their attention. If not, you don't force an adult to give you attention. You can only secure his attention if you have something valuable to say or discuss with him or her. All right. So when it comes to training methods, we put in mind that for children, we may have to force attention from them, either through cane or through discipline or whatever. But an adult, you don't force him through cane or any form of discipline. You don't discipline adults. If not, you have your training for yourself. All right. So we are going to be much more interested in andragogy, learning approaches for adults, not pedagogy. Now, some of the learning approaches for andragogy will also work effectively for pedagogy. And that's why we hear things like Montessori educational approach, where you have a combination of andragogy and pedagogy. Okay, andragogy and pedagogy. All right. Now, for on-the-job method of training, we have apprenticeship. So we can learn through apprenticeship. We can learn through job rotation. We can learn through orientation and induction. So if you look at on-the-job method of training, you find that apprenticeship is more of doing, job rotation is still more of doing, orientation is still more of doing, what you're going to see and what you're going to be doing, all right? Now, of the job methods, you have things like simulations. So when you go for off-the-job training, like what we're having now, you have simulations. You could create similitudes that you can use for demonstrations. For instance, you have templates. We had to have every group to go and develop offer letters, appointment letters with remuneration attached to it. That's simulation, similitude of what we'll be doing. And then we reviewed, we criticized, and then we made corrections, right? So when you're teaching adults, please have similitudes, simulations. Although when we hear simulation, it's more of technology driven, but similitude simply means, or simulation simply means something that could be similar to what you want to do. Okay. Then you have case studies. Case study is like storytelling. All right, storytelling. Instead of you learning it firsthand by your own experience, you can use another person's story, relevant story, to learn, and then make sure that you improve on whatsoever that could have been identified as errors, as issues within that case study. Okay. For instance, we had a case study the other day. Okay. I've not forgotten the case study because it was an assumed case study. Okay. Okay. So let's assume in this training and development case now, we want to do a case study on monitoring and evaluation. Okay. How many of us have ever been in the situation where you are scheduled for a training, or your company scheduled for a training, and the staff now had a dealing with the person that is going to be training to provide them certificate and forget about the training? Let's share the money, share the certificate, and let's get out of here. If you've ever been in that kind of, you've either had or been in that kind of situation before, please can you type 00 in the chat room? You've heard of such situation, or you've been in such situation, kindly type 00 in the chat room. A situation where your organization sent you on training or sent staff on training, and the staff went and negotiated with the organization that is to train them, and they divided the money and shared the certificate and left. Okay. Now, if you had such a case, okay, how will you now measure the effectiveness of the training? Is it possible ever? The report they are going to give you on training feedback, you already know that that one can never be a data. Do you get such a case study now? 1, training was scheduled. 2, staff was sent on training, but staff now went and negotiated with the consultant or training provider that, CEO, we don't have time for this training. No, kindly bear with us. This training, we know that it's a 500,000, but you can just give us 200 and take 300, print the certificate and give us. We'll resume back to work after the training schedule is over. And then the training provider will now go and develop feedback. He will use his feedback form, and all the areas you'll be ticking 5, 5, 5. Very good, very good, very good, excellent, excellent, excellent. Maybe in a few cases he will tick 3 and 4 and go and submit back to your organization. Now, when we are now doing training effectiveness, evaluation of training effectiveness, you know that this kind of thing can never be a good, can never give a good report for further development on training. Okay, so we can use case studies. And then by case studies too, we also open the eyes of trainees on what could possibly happen within your training assignment that has happened with others, that could possibly happen with you, and then how you can then put an end to that. Okay, these are part of the things you come up. Then for adults, you need to come up with games. Okay, come up with games. Okay, find the game that will suit them and then come up with it. This particular organization, I will not mention their name, but we went there for a training engagement, and they said to us that if this training is within Nigeria, that it shouldn't be in Abuja. And even if it's going to be outside of Abuja, that the excursion time should be more than the lecture time. Did you get that? The excursion time should be more than the lecture time. Are they saying they are not interested in learning? No. What they are trying to tell you is that their learning style, does not demand that they sit in class and be learning everything. So you might come up with excursion exercises that will now facilitate their learning. For instance, if you're going to be teaching top management executives, you can't anticipate to keep them in class for 8 hours. You don't. They want to learn by seeing, not by you saying. There is nothing you want to tell them that they've not heard. But they want to now see practical realities, challenge their brain, question some people, and then get results. That's what they want. Okay, that's what they want. So you need to find out the best approaches that will work for your audience. Okay, then you have role play. And then sometimes some of them you use role play, drama and role play to pass your information. If you have training for political leaders in Nigeria, part of the best ways or let's say political leaders in your country, let me not say Nigeria, you have political leaders in your country and you have been called to deliver a training to them, maybe on political strategy or what have you, or the state of the nation. You're possibly going to use more of role play, drama, comedy to pass your information without getting anyone offended, and they will pay full attention at the same time. Comedy, drama, role play, they will pay attention and you pass your information. You don't need to stand there all day talking. No, you don't need to use slide. No, the drama, the role play, the comedy would have done the work for you. All right, then you have lecture, which is the most basic one that everyone uses. Okay, then you have discussions. All right, then for the e-learning methods, you have program instruction method, like the one you have pre-recorded videos, and then you could or have lesson materials, you tutor yourself. And then you have the live stream method, like the one we're having. In the live stream method, you have the interactive method, like we have. Interactive method simply means both parties are engaging. The trainer, the trainees, they are all engaging. Everyone is interacting. But then we have the non-interactive method, where it is live, but it is only the trainer that is passing information. For instance, on YouTube, when we stream this on YouTube, we don't expect to say, okay, if you're on YouTube, or mute and let's hear from you. We can't hear from you on YouTube. We can't hear from you on Facebook, but you will be hearing from us. You can only make comments that we respond to. Okay, so it is not as interactive as the Zoom or Team or any other virtual interactive tool you want to use. All right. So it's now left for you to decide which of the approaches will suit you. A good understanding of your target audience is needed before choosing a training method or training method. Was it day before yesterday? We went somewhere. The country manager for African Union, their sports council. Okay, they are one of our clients. So we want to invite them to the program we're having in Abuja by 31st of May. And the man said that, he first of all asked us, is it online? We said no. He said, hey, because this online thing that he's not used to it. Okay. And I remember that for the few moments he tried to join us in most of our online trainings, we always have network issue. So because of that network issue, he just feels like online is not a good fit for him. So you need to have a good understanding. You need to have a good understanding of your audience before you choose your method. All right. Okay. So someone is asking a question here. She said, so what the verdict for such an organization be to not extend its position? So what should be the verdict for such an organization so as not to extend its position? I perceive you're talking about those who will go and negotiate with training consultant and share certificate and go. Well, for such organization, that means they need to put tight monitoring evaluation policies in place. For instance, maybe the training manager need to now follow them to the training location to be sure that yes, this training is taking place. And maybe the organization need to now schedule some other top executives to also go and see what is happening there. Let it be that the training is taking place. And with the kind of environment we have now, you can actually monitor your training from your office. You don't need to go anywhere. You can use your Zoom and use a camera to monitor what is happening there. Okay, so you can provide more effective ways of M&E. Okay. Now, training and development categories, you have your general employee training, sensitivity trainings, management trainings, management development training, and executive development training. General employee training is for everybody. Character development, attitude development, organizational productivity, that was general. Sensitivity trainings, you have trainings like culture trainings, religious trainings, language trainings, and all of that. Then you have management development trainings for those who are climbing up the ladder of management. You have the executive development training for top executives. For the sake of time, I may not have to go through them one after the other, but I just have to move fast. Now, training and development skills and competencies. Please give me 10 minutes and that will be done. Training and development skills and competencies. It's good you have competencies in project management, management development, change management, leadership, data-driven decision-making and analysis, communication, strategic and critical thinking abilities, business management competencies, relationship building competencies, teamwork and collaboration competencies. Okay, so these are some of the competencies you need to have, skills and competencies you need to have as a training provider. Now, training evaluation, that's the final thing we are looking at. Training evaluation is the process, the systematic process of collecting information and using that information to improve your training. Evaluation provides feedback to help you identify if your training achieved your intended outcomes and helps you make decisions about future trainings. Anytime you deliver training to your audience, you need to know how effective it's been. Are your people putting their learning into practice? And is it positively impacting their role and the wider organization? Now, I have a model we use for training and evaluation. We call the Kirkpatrick's 4-level training. Now, the Kirkpatrick's 4-level training focuses on evaluation through reactions, learning, behavior, and results. Now, quickly, let's look at what each of them is all about. For the reaction, you want people to feel that training is valuable, measuring how engaged they were, how actively they contributed, and how they reacted to the training help. To the training helps. And how they reacted to the training. Okay, measuring how engaged they were, how actively they contributed, and how they reacted to the training helps you to understand how well they received it. It also enables you to make improvement to future programs by identifying important topics that might have been missing. So when you're done with training, you want to take into consideration reactions, questions being asked, questions being raised. If it is a physical training, you now have to assess the modes of trainees. Were they smiling? Were they paying attention? Were they distracted? How frequent were they going on in and out and all of that? You have to evaluate those things. Okay. Some of the questions you may want to ask are, did they feel that the training was worth your time? Did you think that it was successful? That's the reaction from the facilitator. Do you think it was successful? What were the biggest strengths and weaknesses of the training? Did you like the venue and presentation style? Both the trainee and the trainee, they will all evaluate this. Were the training activities engaging? What are the 3 most important things you learned from this training? From what you learned, what do you plan to apply? What do you plan to apply in your job? What support might you need to apply what you learned? Did the training session accommodate your personal learning style? These are the things that you get from reactions. If you ask questions, people will give you feedback. Now, the next one is the learning itself. Level 2 focuses on measuring what your trainees have and haven't learned. In the new world version of the Kirkpatrick's evaluation tool, the new version, level 2 also measures what they think they will be able to do differently as a result, how confident they are that they can do it, and how motivated they are that they can make changes. So what you want to evaluate under the learning session is, what did they learn? What did they not learn? How motivated were they? How confident are they with the learning? Would they be able to make changes with what they've learned? These are some of the things you evaluate at level 2. This demonstrates how training has developed their skills, attitudes, and knowledge, as well as their confidence and commitment. To measure how much your trainees have learned, start by identifying what you want to evaluate. Training sessions should have specific learning objectives, so make those your starting point. You can measure learning in different ways depending on the objectives, but it's helpful to measure these areas both before and after training. So which areas are we measuring? What have been learned and what haven't been learned? Confidence level before and after, motivation level before and after, application level before and after. These are some of the things you measure before and after the training. Now, before the training begins, test your trainees to determine their knowledge, skills level, and attitudes. Please, when we say test, we don't mean giving them paper and then start saying question number 1, question number 2. No, you can assess them through discussion. Remember, training and development on andragogy level, adult level, you don't ask them to write anything exam. If not, you discourage them completely. If you want an adult to discontinue with your workshop, just tell them there'll be exam after the workshop. You'll be the one in that workshop. Okay. Then when the training is finished, test your audience a second time to measure what they have learned. In this case, the second time you may now have to use group work, individual assignments, and any other. Don't ever mention exam if you're dealing with adults. Don't even call it test. Just a class discussion, class activity, group activity, individual activity. That is the one that their mind accepts with confidence. If not, if you mention test, you mention exam, you will reduce the number of people that came for that workshop. Okay. All right. And you can also use interviews, okay, and verbal discussions, okay. Now, the next one is behavior. This level helps you to understand how well people apply their training, all right? It can also reveal where people might need help, but behavior can only change when conditions are favorable. No matter the kind of training and how much you paid for training, if the condition, the organizational environment, the culture, the systems, the procedures within the organization does not support the trainee to apply what he has learned, the behavior will not change. So imagine you are assessing your team members after training session. You can see little change and you conclude that they learned nothing and that the training was ineffective. It is possible, however, that they actually learned a lot, but that the organizational or team culture obstruct behavioral change. I think I just mentioned that now. Perhaps existing processes mean that there is little scope to apply new thinking, for example. So if the organizational structure is one that is rigid, they might not be able to apply more of what they've learned. As a result, your people don't feel confident in applying new knowledge or see few opportunities to do so, or they may not have had enough time to put it into practice. So when people go for training and come back, also give them time to be able to practice what they've learned. Don't get them encumbered with what they used to do before they went for the training. Okay, that's why we advocate for work autonomy. Be sure to develop processes that encourage, reinforce, and reward positive changes in behavior. Effectively measuring behavior is a longer-term process that should take place over weeks or months following initial training. So we don't expect, it's not abracadabra, it's not magical, it's something that requires time. Those changes, behavioral changes you want, they require time. Okay, and in that process of time, coaching and mentoring may have to come in to reinforce the learning that they've done. Now, questions to ask include, did the trainees put any of their learning to use? Now, this is where the consulting begins to take place. Okay, you may need consultants to now begin to do these evaluations for you. Okay, are trainees able to teach their new knowledge, skills, or attitude to other people? Are trainees aware that they've changed their behavior? One of the best ways to measure behavior is to conduct observations and interview. Another is to integrate the use of new skills into the tasks that you set your team. so that people have the chance to demonstrate what they know. Now, finally, the last one is results. At this level, you analyze the final results of your training. This includes outcomes that you or your team have decided are good for business and good for your team members, and which demonstrate a good return on investment. Level 4 will likely be the most costly and time-consuming. Your biggest challenge will be to identify which outcomes, benefits, or final results are most closely linked to the training, and to come up with an effective way to measure these outcomes in the long term. Some of the things you measure in level 4 are increased employee retention, increased productivity or production, higher morale, reduced waste, increased sales, higher quality ratings, increased customer satisfaction, fewer staff complaints, fewer customer complaints also. Okay. Make a series of short-term observations and measurements to check what changes in behavior due to training are making a worthwhile difference to your team's performance. Find what is making the most of the performance, and those will be considered as the leading indicators. Now, here we have a template of an evaluation form. If you have the learning objectives evaluated, course materials evaluated, content relevance evaluated, facilitator knowledge evaluated, facilitator delivery and style evaluated, facility and environment evaluated. In some other cases, especially for physical trainings, we may have need to evaluate the food that is being given. You evaluate the food also. All right, evaluate the food. It's better you do your evaluation on a scale of 1 to 5, from strongly agree to strongly disagree. Okay. With that, you could have some tangible data to run statistically to have to help you make decisions. Okay. Do I have any question? Do I have any question? Before we go for break, we'll divide us into, for those who don't have group, we'll take you to groups, and then we'll allow you on break, and in the break you will do your discussions. And then we'll take 1 hour break. When we come back, we will round up. So this is 3 p.m. Nigerian time. So when we return, that will be by 4 p.m. or yes, by 4 p.m. So we'll take 4 to 5, and that will be end for the day. Okay, do I have my group people here? Group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4, group 5. Please, if you are in group 1, kindly type 1 in the chat room. Let's quickly add those who are not in group to groups. If you're in group 1, kindly. Okay, I think it will be better this way. If you have no group at all, you don't have any group, type 00. Let's quickly do that. Please don't forget to take your attendance before you go. You don't have any group, please type 00. Let's quickly do that. You don't have any group, please type 00. 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 Okay, so group 1, Excellence and Adeyemi, please, can you join group 1? Excellence and Adeyemi, can you join group 1 first? Please, group 1, can we have your WhatsApp link so that they can join group 1 now? Please don't join the group we have not sent you to. All right? Excellence and Adeyemi, please, can you join group 1? So Favor, you're in group 5 and you don't know. It's well with you. Group 1, can we have your WhatsApp link, please? Group 1, can we have your WhatsApp link so that Excellence and Adeyemi Caleb will join Group 1. Excellence and Caleb, please join Group 1. Now, Group 2, Billard, is it Billy? Sorry, Billy David and Abiodun Omosehin. Please, can you join Group 2? Group 2, kindly post your link, your WhatsApp group, so that Group 2 will join. Excellence. Billy and I think I need to get to my phone and write these numbers down. Abiodun and Billy, you're in Group 2, so kindly join Group 2. Do we have the WhatsApp groups? Group 1, okay, Group 1, their WhatsApp link is there. Group 2, kindly drop your WhatsApp link. Group 2, please kindly drop your WhatsApp link so that Billy and Abiodun will join. Okay. Please, for every hand raised, I will attend to your question just in a moment. Okay, Group 3, please, Hope and Adaku. Can you join Group 3? Hope and Adaku. Can you join Group 3? Hope and Adaku, can you join Group 3? Hope and Adaku, can you join Group 3? Hope and Adaku. Hope and Adaku, Group 3. Hope and Adaku, Group 3. Group 3. Please, all the groups, kindly post your links here so that anybody will mention they just join. Okay, anybody will mention they just join. Okay, Hope and Adaku, Group 3. Then Ogenetega and Jenny, Group 4. 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 Augustine, Group 5. Augustine and Favor, Group 5. Augustine and Favor, Group 5. Augustine and Favor, Group 5. Please, if you know the group that you're called, just type your group, let them send you link. Group 1 to Group 2, link is invalid. How do you mean it's invalid? We are not the ones managing the group, so Group 2 is working now. Is it not the same thing I'm clicking on here? It's working, so it's invalid. Please click on the link they sent to you. Group 2 is working. I just clicked on the link now and it's opening. Okay, so our attendance will be taken after this, after the final class, after presentation. So go to your groups, do your presentations. When you come back for the final class, we will take, but don't go yet until you receive your assignment. If there is any other person that have not been assigned to a group, now type 22 in the chat room, let's know. If you've not been assigned to a group, type 22 now, let's know. I are Chinyeriwu and Eta Philip. Please join Group 1 now. Chinyeriwu and Philip Eta, join Group 1. Which other person? I'm trying to capture all of it. Chinyere Iwu and where is Dudu coming from? Okay, Chinyere Iwu and Eta, group 1. Daniel Kisi and Musa Naso, group 2. Pastor Taiwo and Yomi Bajemi Yomi, group 3. Shobowale and Shobowale and okay, Shobowale group 4. Shobowale group 4. Shobowale group 4. Is there still anyone who is not in the group? I believe by now everyone should know their group. So know your group and then follow the link and join your group. Now, what's the assignment? What's the assignment? The assignment, just take 1 hour and do the assignment. When you come back, you can do the assignment in your group. And then when you come back, we can continue. Because we'll close down after we have gotten the assignment. The assignment is that you should assume you've been consulted to develop and administer training program to a company employee. Assume any training topic of your choice. Now your work is design the training objectives and curriculum, and then tell us which methodologies you will use in administering the training. Design the objectives and the curriculum content for the training of your choice, and then which methodologies will you use? 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 Does anybody have any question for this? I hope it's understandable enough. Choose any topic of your choice. Mr. Dave, he said missing. What is missing? Group 3, please, can you repost your link? Who is in group 3, sir? Group 3, have you ever posted your link today? Group 1. Please, every group, kindly repost your group so that we know who is in group 3. Like group 3, you've not posted your link at all today. Okay, so group 3, your link has been posted. Kindly join your group. Group 3, your link has been posted by Christiana. Please kindly join your group. Please, can we repost the groups again? Please, when you repost, ensure to write the name of the group so that we'll all know. We'll take the attendance by 4 o'clock after we've done the group activities. Then we'll take the attendance. Don't worry, we will still present. Those groups that have not presented, they will still present. Can we shut down this class now? Or are there people who have not joined the groups? Okay. Someone is asking for IPM group link. And then another thing you could do is that you could go to, if you've received your group, you can kindly go to the general group and ask for that particular link. And please don't post the link in the general class group, in the general admin group, because not everybody there is doing HR before you start receiving people that are not part of it. Please, if you have not received your own link, kindly go to the general WhatsApp group and ask for your own group. Group 3, they said your link is invalid. Kindly repost the link. Are we good to go? Is everybody in a group now? And please, if you're just joining, don't tell me you're not in a group because I won't answer you. For all the people whose names have been mentioned to be in a group, have you joined your group? Please, if you've not joined your group, don't you're already in a group now? Which one is the no for? Okay. Can we shut down now? This is 312. Musa, I've already assigned you to a group. Okay, so find out your group and join with the link. Now, if you don't have, if you're finding difficult joining with your link here, please kindly go to the general WhatsApp group and ask for your group link. Let your group leader, group saver, you just joined now, Elizabeth Itatu. So just don't ask me what's your group. Come back next time for your group. Please, I have to log out now. We'll reconvene by 4:15. You have 1 hour. Please, 4:15, we'll reconvene. Go to the general group and specifically request for your group link. Group 1, group 2, group 3. Okay, specifically request for your group, all right? So that you receive your group link. Anybody that is saying, I want group, please don't send him any link. The person must be specific with his group. Is he in group 1, is he in group 2, is he in group 3 or 5 before we respond to him in the general class. So once again, the assignment is on the screen. The assignment is for us to develop, choose any topic of your choice, develop training objectives on that, and develop training content. By the question, it simply means you also have to tell us the audience you are dealing with. It said, assume you have been consulted to develop and administer a training program to a company's employees. So you must tell us the category of employees that particular training is meant for. Then you tell us the objectives, then you tell us the curriculum, and tell us the training methodology you use. Okay.